Brand new whip, got no keys. Tell my clothes, no starch, please. Soon as you can go leave. Got M's in the bank like S and D.
Hey guys, this is the Winnipeg Rail Fan, and welcome to the final episode of Engines of Northern Alberta Railways. Today, we will be talking about the newest of the NAR's diesel fleet, the GMD SD38-2. Well, they obviously aren't new now, they're almost like 45 years old now, but you get the idea. Not a lot of people know the NAR had SD38s. Most people would assume that they were SD40s or SD40-2s. But nope! What is an SD38-2, you may ask? Well, one, it's a locomotive, and two, it's a less powerful version of the SD40-2. Here's some history and specs on the unit. The General Motors Diesel SD38 series of engines were 6-axle locomotives built between 1972 and 1979 and are part of the SD or Special Duty series of locomotives. They consisted of the SD38, SDP38 for passenger service, and the SD38-2. They were less powerful, probably cheaper alternatives to the extremely popular SD40 series of locomotives, specifically the insanely popular SD40-2. The SD38-2 shares the same frame as the SD40-2 and the SD45-2. The 38-2, like the others I mentioned, is powered by an EMD 16-645E prime mover that produces 2,000 horsepower. It has a CC wheel arrangement, a fuel capacity of 3,200 gallons, or in some cases 4,000 gallons, a length of 68 feet 10 inches, a width of 10 feet 3 inches, and a height of 15 feet 7 inches. Some owners of the SD38 and or SD38-2s were BC Hydro, Bessemer and Lake Erie, Duluth-Mesabi and Iron Range, Chicago Northwestern, and the Detroit-Toledo and Ironton.
Hey, don't forget the L&N.
Oh yeah, and the L&N had them too.
Hey, wait. Don't forget about Conrail's SD38s. They were built for Penn Central after all, and we all know that Penn Central did nothing wrong. Except kill the banger in Arstook.
Penn Central! Penn Central, baby! You can count on us! That's the way to go! Penn Central!
Anyways, the NAR only ordered 4 units, all of which were delivered in December of 1975. The NAR SD38-2s were also equipped with Nathan K3L horns. Here's a sample from NAR 401. The NAR 38-2s and most other Canadian GMD locomotives of the late 60s to the late 80s had different styles than their US EMD counterparts. For instance, the EMD units featured cab-mounted headlights and a bell on the frame of the locomotive, while GMD units had a cab-mounted bell and headlights mounted on the nose. There were other very slight differences, but they don't really matter. Only 8 of the 90 SD38-2s produced were built by GMD in London, Ontario. Those are BC Hydro 381 to 384, which all of these units later went to the Southern Railway of BC, retaining the same numbers, and of course the NAR 401 to 404. The NAR ones featured dynamic braking. It seems like a lot of units that were on railways linked to the CNR lacked dynamic braking. For example, CN 5063, Central Vermont 4138, or Grand Trunk 5917. NAR had nicknamed their GP9 and GMD1 diesels after places along their lines and after important people as well, so they did this to the 38-2s. It seems like the GP9s were named after places along their lines, GMD1s after important Albertan people, and the SD38s after rivers. The naming was apparently done in the mid-1970s to celebrate an anniversary of the NAR. 401 was Peace River, 402 was Pembina River, 403 was Athabasca River, and 404 was Smoky River. As you know by now, CN acquired the NAR in 1981 and took, well, everything. So what did they do with these units? Around 1981 to 1982, CN renumbered these units to the 5700 series. They became CN 5700 to 5703. These numbers lasted until 1996 when CN gave the 5700 number series to another group of EMD locomotives that are still on the CN roster to this day. Those are the PRLX SD75M. I mean the CN SD75Is. CN renumbered the SD38-2s 1650 to 1653. Surprisingly, 3 out of the 4 units are on the active CN roster to this day, operating mostly out of Alberta and Saskatchewan, although some have made it out to places like Manitoba and even Quebec. In fact, CN 1650, formerly NAR 401, is currently in Symington Yard. In short, 401 became CN 5700, then later 1650, 402 became CN 5701, and later 1651, 403 became 5702, later 1652, and 404 became CN 5703, and later 1653. CN recently retired and sold 1651, formerly 402, to PRLX or Progress Rail. In this photo you can sort of see the original NAR paint coming through the fading CN scheme. Around mid-2016 I was at home on my computer, bored as fuck, so I decided to look at locomotives for sale. Don't ask why, I don't even know. Anyway, I stumbled upon a gray SD40 looking engine for sale. Literally, this one right here. Anyways, I thought this was a CN SD40 because it really did look like one. But then again, they didn't have the long hood number boards or vertical headlights, so I said it couldn't have been one. And probably not an Algoma Central or a QNSNL unit either. Anyways, the unit was sold off somewhere later on, and the mystery of the unit was never solved to me until I found out CN had SD38-2s, and they had sold one off to PRLX, and then to SNS Leasing, and finally to Cargill. Mystery solved! Anyways, 402 is now working as CRGX or Cargill SD38-2 604 at their grain elevator in Nesbitt, Manitoba. Maybe one day I'll get out there and snap a picture of it. And maybe even get a picture of the former Conrail SD38 in Elm Creek. Who knows how long it'll be until CN retires the other 3 SD38-2s from their roster. Even though the NAR is now long gone, there are still preserved pieces of the railway's history, rolling stock, and locomotives across North America and Cuba. Either way, the NAR will continue to be a part of the history book of Canadian National Railways, and most importantly, railways in Canada.